Hi, this is Jon Arnold, the portal editor for IP Convergence TV, and I'm back with another interview here at the TMC IT East Expo 2008 edition here in Miami Beach, Florida. And we are about to open the show in a couple of hours, but beforehand I've got another interview to bring you. This time I'm going to be speaking with Matt Lukens, a VP at Comverse. Welcome, Matt.
Hi, how you doing, John?
Great, good to see you here at another event.
Yes, another event in Miami, a nice one.
This is the place to be in January, right?
Yes.
So let's talk about a couple of trends. Of course, Comverse is a major player in this space, and we're going to get into a whole bunch of topics here in the short time we have. So Matt, let's first talk a little bit about some of the trends you're seeing out there in the FMC space, the fixed mobile convergence area.
We're seeing a lot of adoption in Europe. I think that's a function of the ability to gain access to the networks in Europe on the cellular side. In the United States, there's a lot of interest. Seems to be a lot of pent-up demand, but we're seeing that it's going much more slowly, and I think that that has to do with the structure of the MVNO relationships that the cellular carriers are offering.
So FMC, I mean, on a global basis, there's a terrific opportunity here, but clearly not every market is buying into it at the same rate and in the same way, right?
You're right. It has to do not only with regulatory issues, but also business model issues. And here in the States, again, the business models are different than they are in Europe, and so FMC is taking off a bit more slowly. So
each market, I think, would have its own strategies and obstacles to deal with, right?
Yes, absolutely.
Right? So where are you seeing the best successes right now with FMC?
We have some FMC deployments in Russia at this point in time. We're also seeing some in Europe. We're talking to a number of people here in the U.S. Some interest in Latin America as well, but again, Latin America's carriers are pretty dominant in their own markets, and they're moving at their own pace.
Right, right. Now, you think that FMC would create more competition, so to speak, but I know it's not that simple, right?
No, it's not that simple. The convergence of fixed and mobile is really an effort to try and get that customer and screw his feet to the floor and generate the ARPU from him from a number of different services. So it's really a game to keep the customer, or to gain the customer and keep them, and so it's a battleground. Now,
battleground between wireless types of providers or wireless and wireline?
Well, you've really got three players in that mix, right? You've got the wireless carriers, you've got the wireline carriers, and then you've got this so-called NGN IP guys who've been doing VoIP for a while or are looking at deploying VoIP. And so you really have three different parties trying to get to that subscriber.
Okay. All right, we're going to move on now to the next leg I'd like to talk about today, and that would be IPTV. Let's talk a little bit about what's happening in that space. And again, a very regionalized kind of a play.
Sure. In the United States, we've seen a lot of wait and see this year. We haven't seen a lot of contracts that have gone down. Of course, Verizon has Fios and AT&T has Uverse. But in the Tier 2 and Tier 3 space, they seem to be moving relatively slowly. There have been some early adopters who are already out there with some existing providers. We're actively engaging with a number of different providers who are interested, but we haven't seen a lot of action. Latin America, we're seeing lots of RFPs. We're seeing lots of activity. A little bit different than the U.S. The U.S. tends to all be fiber to the home, high bandwidth, multi-megabit, 5 HD TVs per home kind of scenarios. Latin America is very different. They've got copper typically. They've got DSL, or they've got maybe DSL plus. And they're looking at it, an SD lineup, standard def lineup with a couple of HDs, 1-2 sets per home. But very active, and we've been working on a number of RFPs in that area. Europe is amazing. The bundles that are being offered there are incredible. France Telecom, Orange, and other providers there are actively going after the subscribers.
So with the success models they're having in the European market, what can the North American carriers learn from that, or is it too different a marketplace?
I think is more deregulated than the U.S. market. we're seeing a lot of activity sort of outside of the traditional wireline carrier footprint. We're seeing new builds, gated communities, in some cases new MDUs. There are some guys trying to do brownfield as well. Whereas in Europe, it appears at least that everybody's trying to poach on everybody else's turf. And I think it's a regulatory issue.
Okay. All right, and just in the time we have left, let's talk a little bit about VoIP. Of course, that's a big bucket, but just high level, a couple of things you're seeing there.
Well, again, I think let's face it, at this point, residential VoIP Class 5 is commoditized. Everybody's got it. You can get it. You can sign up for it on the web. Lots of different carriers. Verizon's delivering it with Fios as the primary carriage of voice for that, although they don't make a big deal out of it. So really, we seem to see the action transferring over to the small and medium enterprise. Hosted PBX, IP-Centrex. Microsoft has made a number of announcements that are going to affect that space to a great extent. And we're seeing a lot of uptake there. So we're seeing success here in the U.S., and we have a number of our customers working in that area. We have a customer in Europe who's signing up over 1,000 small and medium enterprises a month for IP delivery, both internet and IP-Centrex. And so from our perspective, it's the value-added services that Centrex and hosted IP can bring that's making a difference.
Okay. Just lastly, what technologies are you starting to see, maybe some early signs of, that might make VoIP a little more interesting, a little more of a 2.0 kind of an offering than it is today?
Well, at Comverse, we're a company who deals with messaging. We deal with voice. We deal with IPTV. We deal with a wide range of different services from SMS through voicemail. So really, it's taking all of those different products and elements and rolling it together into a total communication service offering that we think is going to be the winner.
Okay. All right. And with that, we're going to sign off. So Matt, thanks very much for your time today.
Thank you.
Okay, and everybody, thanks for watching.